Rob Brown, hit a lap. I want a lap around the park. I want two, and I
Abs-
want them hard. And don't you dog it, Brown.
I,
All
I,
right, don't dog it because you'll
I'm
run
not. I'm
ahead.
not. I will get that email situation corrected. Hey, Rob Browne, Memphis, Brenden Martin in Ocala, Florida. Got a great show today. Special guest. I'm excited, man. University of Memphis head football coach Ryan Silverfield, a native of Jacksonville, Duval County, the biggest county east of the Mississippi. Went to the Bowl School down there.
Dude,
I think been coaching since he
I
was.
feel like I know him because I was over at Nice for a year. I almost went to bowls. So
Yeah, and he's been coaching, I think, since he was 19. It's going to be a fun time. He's got a tight window the first 20 minutes. Frank Duffy, Doug Dean be with us. But take a picture with the cell phone or the QR code. We're live on X, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, 8 channels. And then we got 8 shows on this channel, like the Buddy Martin Show, Scarbo Knows, the Best Fridays in Football with Urban Meyer, Die Hard Podcast on Wednesday with AU Undercover, Lauren Meadows. Hey, man, one-stop shop, the hour of power. So let's go ahead and get started, man. And Coach Silverfield, I know you've got a tight window.
Oh, well,
Got
I
a
think we're getting that echo back here. Coach, how are you?
Good. How are y'all doing this morning?
Good.
good. Coach, I know I'm getting a little bit of an echo, but you've got a tight window this morning. So what bottom line is, you being a head football coach, and I think you started coaching when you were 19 or 20. It's been really fun to watch your journey. I will not forget December of 2019 up here when Memphis beat Cincinnati for the conference championship, 12-win season. And then Coach left, went to Florida State. You came right in. That's hard to do. And you're like 42-20, and it just keeps getting better. Talk about what it's like being a head football coach. You're one of the younger ones in the country, and you're having a lot of success.
Yeah, it's quite unique, right? You talked about. I heard you coming in that I've been coaching since I was 19. Yeah, since 27 years of coaching. Started coaching when I was 18 years old. So I guess I am still considered one of the younger ones, even though I look around the league and I see some young coaches facing one tomorrow night. But the nature of it, right? I've been just so fortunate. This is my 10th year in Memphis. I've absolutely loved it. You know, my predecessor, Mike Norvell, had huge success here, was able to stay loyal to him and stay loyal to this program. And it's worked itself out. You know, we take it as a one game at a time approach, find a way. Obviously, we're very fortunate with the streak we're on right now, but all we can focus is on the next game.
And Coach, you had a relationship with Fred Smith. We all know what he meant to Memphis and the world. I mean, I've been to a lot of countries, and I see a FedEx package, I feel like I'm in Memphis. But that's a partnership that is so powerful, and also with Lowe's and AutoZone and all. And Dr. Hardgrave, I've known him since he was the dean of the College of Business at Auburn. He loves you, and he loves what you're doing. And I was at the Arkansas-Memphis game a couple of weeks ago, 11 a.m. game. The president needs to sign a directive. It's like being in an outdoors. I can run or bike in it, but that was an awesome atmosphere. And talk about this relationship you have with the stadium, because this is new. It's never happened like this.
Yeah, well, first off, we're very fortunate with the relationships that have been built over my time here. You talked about with the Smith family and FedEx. So fortunate. I hold the entire family in high regards. They're friends first and foremost, and so, but appreciate that relationship. And you talked about with AutoZone and Lowe's and those other companies. It's allowed us to continue to push ourselves to the forefront. And then you talked about my relationship with Dr. Hargrave. Obviously, he had immense success when he was at Auburn, and then obviously we're thrilled to have him here at the University of Memphis. And he continues to put our university at the forefront of everything, and he knows how important athletics is. And then now you talk about us owning the stadium, right? You talk about that atmosphere, sellout crowd versus Arkansas, the construction going on in the background, $220 million being infused into that stadium, which will open completely renovated in 2026. But it's huge. Now that the University of Memphis owns the stadium, right, we're going to look at how can we do other things, right? Concerts, monster truck, wrestling events, all the things to continue to allow our athletic department, to allow our university to have success on the national stage.
You know what? This is an old Tulane ball boy right here, Frank Duffy, Mr. LSU Tiger in Tulane. Jump in here with Coach Silverfield. That right there, it's no longer an NRA, a non-revenue producing asset. That is a revenue producing machine.
Frank. No doubt. And Coach, I was a Tulane ball boy back in the 70s for Coach Larry Smith and Mac Browne, and just the litany of talent down there. and the litany of talent that's in this conference right now it's incredible. Y'all are playing great football. I'm an LSU guy, but when I go back in from Atlanta to watch my Tigers, if I can make it to a Tulane game, like I saw the UCF game a couple of years ago, the SMU game, it's a fantastic conference.
Yeah.
Besides that, I want to talk about specifically your team. I watched every play of that Arkansas game, and I got to tell you, Coach, your kids have no quit in them. They have no give up. They are tough. They play hard. They play to the whistle, which is I'm sure it's a brand of football that you coach and you want. How did you get those kids to buy in and fly around the football? Because I'm telling you what, Arkansas was pestered at every turn on defense, and your kids have jets on offense. I mean, they've got quicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank, you're exactly right. First off, I think so highly of this conference, and I've seen it, and I've seen teams leave and come and go, but there's still so much talent, right? And Tulane certainly is one of those teams that's every year continues to have guys that you're saying, where'd they get those guys? Whether it's a young man they developed in high school or got in the transfer portal, but ultimately, you're exactly right with our own program. That's the one thing we can hang our hat on, right? There's going to be teams that are talented. We've got skilled players. We've got guys in the trenches, but ultimately how we play the football game, right? And I think that's what I ultimately want is when I hear other coaches say, man, your team plays hard. And that's
they do.
The compliment you could ever pay me, right? Like, hey, you got a good – great. That means nothing, right? We've developed good players. That's excellent. But your team plays hard. Your team has no quit. They fight. And then I think the key to this whole deal is everybody says you have 70 plus new players on your team, right? And with returning with the head coach and returning all of our coordinators, that's rare to have that many new players. But I think what's happened is everybody has bought in to this all-in mantra that we use here at the University of Memphis. And when we talk about being all in, it's being fully committed to every single thing we do. And so where it shows up in between the white lines is when I recruit a young man, I say, understand this, we're going to hold you accountable to every single thing, right? You're going to get your degree from here. You're going to go to class. You're going to do community service hours. You're going to behave in society. Oh, and we're going to bust your tail during the week so you can go out there and have success on Saturdays. And every single one of them to a T said yes. And if they hesitate at all, I say, get out of my office. You're not going to fit here. Go play somewhere, and hopefully we get to match up against you. And so the buy-in from all the guys is, hey, this is the way we do things. All right, we're going to be all in. And ultimately, we better play it and bust our tails on Saturdays so we can find ways to win games.
Yeah, and Coach, I grew up with the mantra. I heard it from Tommy Agee, a fullback in 1986 at a scrimmage at Auburn. If you're going to play us, you better get down in the dirt and go a full 60. So I believe if the fans expect the team to play the full 60, you got to stay the full 60. I don't ever leave until they kneel at midfield for the post-game prayer. Never do. But we were 10 rows up on the 35-yard line with some friends of mine. One of them, Joel Johnson, you need to know, he built y'all's football indoor complex, Burkholz Engineering. And it was just an awesome atmosphere. So many people were there. You have no idea what it means. You do. You actually do. But the culture that you've built, 70 new players, 19 new starters. Brenden Lewis comes in here from Nevada. Talk about his journey, because it's hard to bring in that many new people and have this kind of success. Frank and I know that. You know that better than anybody.
Well, I think part of it is, everybody says, well, okay, why did you bring in Brenden Lewis? He hasn't won a lot of football games. Why would you bring in a quarterback that had struggles at previous universities? Well, you watch his skill set, okay? And that was first and foremost. We're always watching the film of guys in the transfer portal in high school. And then you get to know him a little bit. And obviously in the transfer portal, it's like speed dating. So we brought Brenden Lewis in here, 24-hour visit. We locked the doors, and all we did was watch film. Yeah. And the dude loves football. And that's what's so important. Like every guy we bring in, we want to make sure they love the game, right? I'm glad we're able to pay some guys. I'm glad they're able to get some perks, and we got beautiful facilities and great fan base. But ultimately, they have to love football because of the way we coach and the way we're going to do things around here. And Brenden Lewis, without a doubt, loves football, knows football, cares about it. Usually sometimes I come up in the building, it's still in the 4 a.m. hour, and sometimes there's a light on down the hallway. I said, who the hell is that? And it's our quarterback up here watching film.
Cool.
It's always good if the only person that's going to beat me in the office is either a strength coach or our quarterback. That's exactly what you want. And so
wow.
He's been bought in. He does it at a high level. Obviously, we're winning football games under his leadership.
Yeah.
And we continue to have high expectations of what he's capable of doing.
Yeah. Doug Dean in Birmingham, jump in with Coach Ryan Silverfield, University of Memphis.
Coach Silverfield, it's an honor to talk to you. And we won't put you on the spot about the scene outside of your program. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But as you said on another show, Ari and Andy's show, it's flattery and it's helpful to your program. You know what else is helpful? And we all need a little. Didn't Mama say we need a little luck in life? Almost as important as being smart. And the already great and historic city of Memphis is ascendant, brother. I won't get into the political sphere, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I already look forward to going there for barbecue and the Peabody and just a bunch of things, music. And I think that you're coaching there at possibly the most perfect time. There's no reason you can't. I know you want to just go 1-0 every week, right? As you said, but talk about the excitement around the city of Memphis and how that can inure to your football program's benefit.
Yeah, Doug, this city is so amazing, as you well know. There's so many great things about it that make it so special. But I always say this because people always say, well, you've been at Memphis 10 years, which is rare, right? I left the NFL, coached in the NFL for 7 years, left the NFL to come to Memphis and have decided to stay, even as an assistant when opportunities left, for me to go be an offensive line coach in the SEC or a Big 12 offensive coordinator. I said, you know what? We got a really good thing going here. And so ultimately, and people always said, why did you stay? And I said, it's because of the people. The people of this city are phenomenal. And going back to what you were alluding earlier, yeah, that's great. I appreciate that people are talking about me for other jobs out there, possibly in the SEC, but none of that stuff matters. And if they are talking about it, it's a great compliment to the great people of this city, to the fans that show up, to all those people that have invested in this program, the city itself, right? The president, like we talked about earlier, the athletic department, the administration, this great community. So it's a credit to them because of how much they poured into this. And that correlation, it goes hand in hand, right? The more people pour into this thing, the more people love this program, the more we continue to win football games. And we're proud and honored to be called the city's football program. We love it here. And it's been great because that support has been great. You know, we talk about the Bass Pro Shop. We could talk for hours and hours about tourism if you need me to. I think that's me and the Duck Master at the Peabody, and maybe an Elvis impersonator, the top tourist pushers in the city.
World's tallest standalone elevator. And by the way, actual football. I bet Brenden Lewis didn't mind that you drug Cortez Browne with him from Nevada either.
Yeah, having that quarterback wasn't the extra, he threw that line out there in the water. We said, come on, let's bring your top wide receiver here. And he's done phenomenal as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And the cool thing is the people of Memphis, so many people went to so many different schools that want to support the University of Memphis. And I'm just telling you, in the past, I know people who wanted to support, there was a little pushback. You are completely different. And I'll be at the Touchdown Club Monday night when you come speak. But man, when you bring these kids in on a recruiting trip and you can introduce them to people in Memphis, like a Pitt Hyde, the Smith family, there are so many
Browne.
people. Yeah. I mean, I would help you in any way. I have Tom Dorian's listening right now, played football. He's the biggest Memphis fan. Bobby John, David Hager. I know so many of them that do not miss a game. And man, people will follow leadership. Talk about your engagement when you do go out and talk football, because those crowds now, the stadium setting, Dr. Hargrave and you, these foundations, you're getting these money people that have never been asked, that have always said, if someone would ask, I'll give. And you're great at it.
Well, I think part of it is just being very personal. I think anybody that's gotten the opportunity to know me knows I'm very transparent. And I'll say, hey, here's where we're at, and here's what we need to get to where everybody wants to go. And whether they're people, right, whether they support the team in Oxford, whether they support the team in East Tennessee, we won't say their names, so be it. They're Memphians, and they love the Tigers.
Yeah.
And they know our success is great for the city. And so going out there and engaging with people, whether it's at the Memphis Touchdown Club on Monday or people in our community, or maybe I have a speaking engagement at FedEx, those people are sitting there and saying, wow, I had no idea what it was all about. Because people always think, hey, you just show up on Saturdays and go play football games. But when I can sit down or talk to a group and talk to them about us being top 5 in the entire country in Division I football programs and community service hours, people are like, really? I said, oh, yeah, every week our guys go to LeBonner Children's Hospital. Well, now all of a sudden, I may not be a football fan, or maybe I didn't go to the University of Memphis, but man, I love the fact that your guys are giving back to LeBonner, right? Or maybe it's a local church in town, or maybe there's something at Madonna Learning Signal. So then you engage with that. What piques their interest? And then ultimately they find out, like, hey, you know what? Knock on wood, we don't read about your guys doing negative things in the paper, right? We read about some of these other programs where maybe guys aren't on their best behavior. And hopefully I don't, talk myself over a ledge on that one. But our guys are doing the things the right way, right? We also have the highest graduation rate in the entire conference for 4 straight years. Like, that piques other people's interest. I have donors all the time. Like, Ryan, I'm not even a diehard. I grew up a Memphis basketball fan. I'm engaged now with football because you're the head coach. But man, the fact that your guys are leading the conference in graduation rate, like, I'd like to help you out. Let's help you build an academic building, an academic support center. Oh, great. That's perfect. And so people are engaging that way. And then, by the way, you're winning football games. That makes a huge difference, because now, like I talked about earlier, the correlation and the success from the city back to our football program and the people pouring in, well, it all goes hand in hand. And so as we continue to do things the right ways, we continue to pour into this. The people from the city are continuing to pour into us. And the future is very, very bright here.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, I can tell you, I've been to the FedEx many times. It's a fun place. I've been on Beale more times than I can count. And as a New Orleans guy, I'm an expert at doing that. And I got to tell you, that time that when game day came to Memphis,
God.
and I watched that looked like Mardi Gras. That was a lot of fun. And I'm sure that was a wonderful advertisement for y'all's program, for the campus, for the city. So if you're thinking of where you're going to be next year, I can tell you, you're on the fun side of the Mississippi River. I'm just going to tell you right now, stay where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's no doubt, right? We have plenty to offer. We're a city of over 1 million people. East Memphis is a great community. And, when people come, they're like, man, I had no idea y'all had all this. I had no idea how beautiful the campus was. I had no idea that downtown was this vibrant and safe and a wonderful place to go visit. And I think that's what happens is guys go to these other smaller towns and say, oh, this may not be for me. Look, 6 months out of the year, it's going to be football focused and academic. And then in the off season, there are things you can do. You don't just have to go to the mom and pop's bowling alley and that's all you can do on a Saturday night in February. There's so many other great things, and our players have bought into the way we do things. And I think they love being a part of this community as well.
Yeah. A bourbon on a big ice cube, watching the sunset on the top of the Peabody ain't too bad for recruiting, Coach.
Coach, I want to.
I can do that. They can't, but that sounds like something I'll be joining you with in maybe February, March. Sound good? We'll make it a date.
You get those endorsers to go out there and do that, buddy. That is NIL guys.
Coach, I want to put it's a hypothetical in a way, but we've got a large database and body of work about head coaching hires, NFL and college. College obviously is quite different. It's got to really fit your culture in the program. That doesn't mean a Deep South program necessarily has to hire a Southerner, but it doesn't hurt. And you're a Florida guy, as I recall, as far as roots go. But you've been all around the country, and what a pedigree you've got. As an Auburn guy, and this can apply to others programs for sure. I don't mean to make this just an Auburn show. Really, it's all of football. I'm forming an opinion that there are advantages to hiring a head coach who does not fancy himself the elite play caller, God's gift to play calling, such that it feeds the ego. And I'm being a little hard on our head coach in the way I'm putting that. So be it after that debacle a week ago in College Station offensively. But my logic here is, and it's been echoed by Ellis Johnson, if you've had a chance to meet that awesome defensive coach. He said that there's a cycle. Maybe it's 2 to 3 years. Sometimes the innovation with defenses and offenses, that systems run their course over 3 or 4 years. So my logic is, if you hire a defensive guy, or I wouldn't mind hiring a coach like you, who's, I don't want to pigeonhole you, but you're no stranger to offensive lines. And that is where that's the straw that stirs the drink. We know that painfully. You got to have the defensive front, obviously. But is there something to be said for having a coach that's all about the trenches, being tough, being physical, and can get his players in this NIL age and portal age to buy into being coached a little bit hard? And then you cycle out. If your OCs, if the defenses are catching up with him, he goes somewhere else gracefully, and you hit the refresh button and you just stay ahead of that curve. Am I making sense, Coach?
Yes. You're muted.
I think you're muted.
Got me. Sorry, I'm not very tech savvy. So here we go.
You are.
Doug, that's a great question, a great point you're referencing, right? I'm not going to speak about one specific school, but I think this day and age in college football, right, and in the NFL, it's so easy to sit there and say, this guy is I hear it all the time, this guy's a guru of this, or this guy is so good at this. Well, that's great. What happens if you hire that guy as a coordinator and they leave? You're done? Or what happens if your play calling gets caught up to? And so what I found over years, and as I've continued to grow as a head coach, right, this being year 6, 27th year of coaching, is you can't just be good at one thing, because I promise you someone's going to catch up to you and someone's going to pass you and someone's going to beat your neck. So ultimately, how do you continue to grow as a head coach? Okay. And so for me, I look at our program as we've been one of the most consistent programs in college football really over the last 10 years. I don't take any credit. A lot of it has to do with the culture and the young men within our program. So that's where it always starts, is with what's your culture look like. And every single year, you got to rebuild it. Because if you sit there and say, well, last year we had a good one, we got a lot of returning guys, shame on you. That's an ego as a head coach, and that'll get your ass fired. So ultimately, for me, all right, it's about, hey, make sure the culture's right. Then if you look at what we've been able to do offensively, okay, right? I've had a lot of different offensive coordinators since I've been here. Been very fortunate to have the one we have most recently, Tim Krimsey, who does a phenomenal job. But our offense has been very consistent. I think we're at 45 games, 20 points or more straight. That's consistency. I always love these offensive gurus, and they go out there and put up 0 points. I'm like, well, how are they in offense? Like, at least you have to have some type of game plan where you can be consistent. I'm not saying you got to score 55 points every game and be the hot name for a year, and then next thing you know, your defense is carrying you. So all that being said, I think consistency in an offensive system, right? We won a lot of football games last year. We went 11-2, beat Florida State, beat West Virginia. The year before, we beat Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl, right, by throwing the ball all over the yard. Well, this year, I think we're top 10 in the country in running the football. So finding what does, right? We had drop back passers. Now we got a quarterback that runs a little bit more. So let's find our offensive system. I have a base system that I will always run. And then let's make it right for the players, right? Our personnel. If we have a quarterback that can run more, great. If we got stud running backs, great. If our offensive line is better at pass protection, great. So how do I marry those and match those up? Let's not plug square pegs into round holes, right? Let's find ways to have success. And then defensively as well. The game's ever changing. And so, you can't sit here and say, well, this is the scheme I'm married to. This is what I have to do. What fits us? If we've got stud D linemen, let's play 4 down and let's just be really gap sound. If our D line's not as good, well, let's switch to a 3-3-5, and we got safeties that can run and we can play top down coverage. So be it. But ultimately, it all comes back down to culture and doing it the right way year after year after year, recruiting your tail off, making sure you're bringing the right type of guys, making sure you continue to hold your guys accountable. And that's how you have sustained success. I don't care if you're coaching at Rhodes College, Division III down the road, or you're the head coach at Notre Dame. It's got to be year after year after year of doing it the right way. And then ultimately, I think that's how you have sustained success in all 3 phases of the game.
Fantastic.
I see why you're a good recruiter too, by the way. I'm ready to sign up. I got a couple more years of eligibility.
Man,
I'm a pretty slow linebacker. I don't know if I can make that outside, but I'm ready to go, Coach.
Yeah, Coach.
Let's do it.
Coach, my day job is HR executive. By the way, a huge admirer of Le Bonheur and obviously St. Jude's, and I'm part of Children's of Alabama. But I'm speaking as an HR guy. You're tracking at an A+ in your interview so far, but it's early in the interview.
Well, it's good to know. Other than the echo and the T-shirt, I'm trying my best.
Hey, Coach, you've been there since 4:00 this morning. I know you got a tight window in staff meetings, but you were what I talk about so much is why we love college football. It is a people business. I worked at Regions Morgan Keegan at Duncan Williams, and Miss Williams was on your board out there. And I'm a Memphis guy. I'm an Auburn grad, but I've always pulled from Memphis. And if we're still in Memphis, I want to go to the game tomorrow night against Tulsa. I always say this: I don't give a damn who you're playing. I'm going to watch you, not who you're playing. I learned that a long time ago. But first off, thanks more than you know for sharing your time with us. And we don't get many head coaches. We had Mac Browne on a couple of weeks ago, and it's the same thing. When you get a real coach who speaks from the heart like you do, it's a positive. And Memphis is blessed to have you, and we will do it again. But thanks more than you know for your time.
Look, I appreciate you guys having me on. Fans of y'all, appreciate everything you guys do. I love people that love football and they get back, especially being down in the South. So thank you guys so much. Y'all have a great weekend. Go Tigers.
Good luck against
Tigers.
Tulsa. Yeah, good luck against Tulsa.
Absolutely. You know, and I saw Coach O, by the way. Jacques Doucet showed some video of him. He was at the Patrick Queen dedication. That was, you know what? That guy, Jimmy Ott, and guys I know, and Frank, you are Mr. LSU Tiger, but guys that I get to work with, Scott Rabelais, Jacques Doucet, they all know Coach O. And they all love that guy. I mean, you know, God bless. And talking to Coach Silverfield, he'll be at the Touchdown Club Monday night in Memphis. And Trey Eubanks, Dr. Trey Eubanks, who's the head of Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, you know, and as a child, my mom was on the fundraising and telethons and everything. You talk about a guy that is engaged in the community, and Dr. Hardgrave, it is wow. And the intelligence of that guy. And he says, we introduce the people to the corporate people at FedEx and AutoZone and Lowe's. So we can't give the NIL to every kid, maybe that they can give in an SEC or Big Ten school, but we set them up with those job opportunities. Knowing, hey, we've all been 19 and 20 before, and then we're the age we are now, but they've only been 19 or 20. Listen to people like Doug just said.
There are players out there, and you know, I really admire these coaches that beat the bushes and find them and evaluate them well. And equally important, if not more, they get them in the program and quickly find out with accountability and challenging them. Are they going to fit our program? Are they willing to work hard to get to their dreams, whatever that is? Hey, Duff, I had to ask.
Yes, sir.
My jaw dropped when I saw Ed O declare that apparently he's burned through all the buyout money and he's ready to coach again. Enlighten us on that.
Hey man, those Bloody Marys cost money on 30A, brother. They don't buy themselves. Hey, look, my take on Coach Orgeron, I as an LSU guy, he's our culture. He gets it. He talks our language. And look, I bet he is truly regretful. And look, he's got one person to blame, him.
Yeah.
He took his eyes off of again, to use an analogy, he took his eyes off of his wife and started roaming around and started losing attention. And that's what happened.
He was probably drunk on success.
He damn well was. And look, I say it all the time. When that confetti started hitting the floor of the Superdome, when we had just mopped up Clemson, his mind wandered. I believe that. I've heard that from people in the program, that he spent more time out at the pool than he did in the athletic room. And you saw it when we came out and played that first game against Mississippi State. I know it was the COVID craziness, but they ran up 800 yards on us. How do you do that? So no, he has one person to blame that he's not coaching college football right now. And that's Ed Orgeron.
And he said he's got more meat on the bone. He might be willing to come back as a DC for the right program. I don't see him making a head coach opportunity unless it's a mid-major or whatever the Power 5 group of 5 they call them. But UCLA would be a very interesting place for him since he's been out in LA before. I don't think those Beach Boys are willing to be coached as hard as Ed O will coach.
Well, the problem is he is going to have to do something about those sissy blue uniforms that he talked about when we went out there and played them 4 years ago. That might be an issue.
If you're Ed O, are you guys alone? Is it just me? I'd be happy for somebody to put on my tombstone, one and done head football coach. I won one national championship. I'll take it.
Hey, you can't. They ain't taking that away from him. He'll always have that.
And what a year it was.
Yeah, and the greatest. And I'll debate anybody on the street that wants to talk about that.
Well, let's look now the weekend matchups. We got ESPN Game Day in Tuscaloosa, Vanderbilt at Alabama.
I can't wait for this.
It's been like 65, 70 years since Vandy beat Alabama back to back. It was before Coach Bryant got there. I've got friends that believe they should canonize Diego Pavia if they get the win tomorrow in Tuscaloosa. But the fact that we're talking about
Did
Vandy,
you see that Manziel is going to be on the sideline with him?
Oh God, yeah. What a mentor.
Well, if Alabama comes at him with some revenge in mind, they not only might be canonizing, they might be stuffing him and mounting him like that stuff behind Doug's head.
So I got to ask y'all. I mean, the fact that we're talking about Vandy with a chance. You saw what Peter Burns said. Kevin Skarbinski on this channel, Scarbo Knows, great podcast. Is Alabama man enough to beat Vandy? That's the old famous Coach Dye in 07.
Georgia Alabama.
Hey, I'm selfishly thinking, I hope Alabama softens up Vanderbilt for us in 2 weeks. How crazy is that?
I told my proud Bama grad son-in-law, hey, show us how you beat Vandy. Somebody give us a formula.
Yeah, and it's not easy. I mean, the one thing about Vanderbilt that sticks out is we talked about it with some folks this week. Matt Stinchcomb yesterday was on, and the big guy from Lilburn. I thought he was from College Park. He's from Lilburn, Parkview, and that offensive line for Vanderbilt. He goes, man, those guys. He goes, because one of our Matt Dean or John Hartwell asked him about offensive line play in this league, and he said Vanderbilt's offensive line. When that comes to a mind like Matt Stinchcomb, the Punisher, I call him that because he just dispels any myths that the Big Ten is passing the SEC. But never get complacent. But guys, talk about the matchups on game day tomorrow. Frank or Doug, whoever thinks has the better line of scrimmages.
Let's keep on this Vanderbilt game. And look, Stinchcomb is not only is he very cerebral, he's one of the most articulate guys in the media, in my opinion. And I will tell you, he's not wrong. This Vanderbilt team is not a fluke. This Vanderbilt line of scrimmage is not a fluke. Alabama's going to have all they want now. I do think Alabama's been waiting in the woodshed for them. They got that stick in their hand. Look, there ain't no sneaking up on this Alabama team. Alabama is as tuned in, and all that talk after the first game, boy, I don't hear it coming out of Tuscaloosa anymore. They've gotten real quiet on old D-Bor. I think it's going to be the best game of the day. I think it's going to be the most fascinating. I want to see how Alabama – if they take a business-like approach or if they just come out just mad. And if they come out mad, it's kind of like a guy you're fighting in jiu-jitsu. You want a guy to be off his skis. You can get him off his head. Watch for Vanderbilt to do a lot of screens. Watch for them to do a lot of counters. Watch for them to do a lot of misdirection. And if they do, if they can get into the 30s, I'm telling you, Vanderbilt could pull off a shocker two years in a row.
Yeah, I found myself, and Stinchcomb was great. I was sitting there selfishly, Rob, saying, I wish I was on the round table for Stinchcomb, but y'all asked beautiful questions. No, it's all right. Y'all asked great questions. My jaw dropped, and I said, I really am in an alternative universe when Stinchcomb, arguably a Georgia legend in his own right at O-line. And I am growing in my love and appreciation for these big uglies in the absence of seeing actual O-line play. And I think the scheme at Auburn is causing, and the lack of a running game is causing the O-line to look worse than they actually are. We'll find out in a week and a half, a little over a week. But Stinchcomb, when asked about O-line, he said, I just can't answer that question. What's the best offensive lines in the SEC or anywhere? And he, begrudgingly said, there's one team that looks, I love this phrase, Rob, tied together. Yeah. It's not enough for your right guard to score high in PFF. And he said Vanderbilt's O-line really looks tied together. They work together. Each man knows his job. They're not necessarily elite players. I don't know how many of them will get a shot in the league. Maybe none, but on the O-line. But that really, when is the last time a true expert like Stinchcomb about O-line would answer that question with any name but Bama, Georgia, LSU, and you can add whoever else you want. Some years maybe Texas, a few others. But I think that what makes Vanderbilt so annoying as hell to play with Jerry Kill, pulling the switches with a kid like Diego Pavia, is that they're going to shorten the game. They're going to make you crazy that you feel the pressure that every possession you get, because you're only getting 7 or 8 of them, if Vanderbilt has anything to say about it, you've got to make it count, and probably not for field goals. And so I think Alabama probably has too many elite athletes on the edge offensively. They don't have the greatest running game. Maybe they will tomorrow. I don't mean to besmirch the Tide because they've Jam Miller's back. Maybe he'll have a big day. But I think that Alabama's recipe is hit them big on explosive plays, and that helps you overcome their desire to make it a short game, because offensively Vanderbilt can control trying to have 7, 8, 9-minute drives. But if Alabama puts them in a hole, remember last year was it Mizzou that boat raced Vanderbilt? I think it was Missouri.
No, it was the 3-point game. Remember they lost at the end.
You're
of the
right.
game.
Somebody took, maybe it was South Carolina, took Vanderbilt to the woodshed, if memory serves. And that, how does that happen as good as this team is? And I'll say this, I don't like the look of Manziel coming to a school not named A&M. That's all Hollywood BS. And, Clark Lee's allowing the sideshow, and that you can bet ABC will make that part of the sideshow. But, and the reason, of course, is Manziel's shining moment, arguably, was it 2012 when he goes in there to Tuscaloosa and does the unthinkable and takes down the mighty Tide. But I'm not crazy about that, but TV ratings matter these days, I guess. So if Vanderbilt does win and Diego looks as good as he would have to beat Alabama, why isn't he in the Heisman front runner talk? I don't give a damn if hadn't got the biggest arm and he's not very tall. I bet he's 5'10", soaking wet. He should be in the Heisman talk.
Well, the highest rated, I guess, Vandy football player was, I think, Jay Hinkle in 1937. He finished 7th in the Heisman voting. That's it. And it's because it's Vanderbilt. It's recency bias. But I would not want to have any distractions on my sidelines. Johnny Manziel, if you want to mentor him, that's great. But this is my space, my place, and you don't want to give Alabama any more reasons to be fired up to play.
There's no upside. Why bring him there? I mean, look, and you talk about Coach O. Manziel made his own bed too. It was all by his doing. He wasted a football life.
Yeah,
that kid did. All right. So we don't need him there. I agree with Doug wholeheartedly. Vanderbilt wants to fight Alabama in a phone booth. Yeah. They want this thing to be compact. They want it to be on the line of scrimmage. They want it to be a shortened game. They sure as hell don't want, like what I experienced having Lane Kiffin have 84 offensive plays on him. They don't want Alabama getting that as well. Alabama, to your point, Doug, has to hit the big plays. They got to get Vanderbilt off the line of scrimmage. They got to get them back so that Alabama can run. I'm telling you, this is going to be the game that I'm sitting down and watching because it's going to be so good. But there's another game. Yeah. I want to watch Texas A&M and Mississippi State.
Exactly where I was going.
I'm picking State in that one.
Wow, I do too. They're getting 15.5.
I'm telling you,
steak is as tough as a little $3 steak, and I think I don't know how Auburn played as poorly as they did after playing so well in Oklahoma. I was kind of blown away by that, but I think that gives some false hope to Texas A&M, and if they take Mississippi State lightly, it's going to be a long day. I don't know if Mississippi State wins the money line. But I'm telling you, 15.5, you could drive a tank through that spread.
Aggies are going down, Duff.
I'm going to throw it with you.
I'm going to throw this scenario out there.
I'm butthurt.
If Auburn is so bad and their offense is bad, the defense is really good, then why did Oklahoma go from like 16th to the top 7 or 8, and now they're 6, or they're 5? They're now 5, and they haven't played since they beat Auburn, and Texas A&M is now number 6. So what are you saying? If you're beating up a man in a hospital bed, that's what the perception is because of Auburn's offense, or is Auburn good? I think there are 2 ways Auburn goes from here. Right now, they're on the side of the road with 4 bald tires. But you know what? They got 4 spares. And so go change the tires, get your spit together, and move forward. And don't sit there and feel sorry for yourself because you still got 7 games left.
Sure.
And there's a lot of football to be played. But I want to go back to Mississippi State. Jeff Lebby, this is Art Browne's son-in-law. I watched him at SEC Media Days. You can't help but love this guy. He has got a magnanimous personality. Big old offensive lineman, kind of the John Candy type of personality. He's funny and he's smart. He's really smart. And they're going down there to A&M. I'm with Doug. I'm going to take State to cover, and I won't be shocked if they win because, Mike Elko, he's very defensive. He's like going, y'all aren't going to ask me about we're undefeated. Hey, come on, Doug. I like the bear behind you, by the way.
Yeah, that Newfoundland, Canada, Pope and Young, black bear. It was
Beautiful.
It was a moment. I did not need a cardio check after that bow hunt.
Yeah.
So who's the real winner, man? Is the Egg Bowl ever being treated to some great offensive coaching? And
God.
I don't mean to leave their defenses out for that matter, but I promise you, I don't remember if it's a Friday or a Saturday this November, but I will absolutely tune into this Egg Bowl, and you never know. That could be. I think Mississippi State needs another year or two, but to be contending. But that game could be Lane Kiffin. You got to win this one to punch your ticket.
Yeah.
Although Ole Miss certainly is capable of only having one loss at that point. I don't know. I don't think anybody will. I like what Ari and Andy said on their show this week, and it's a great reminder to my good LSU friends. And I got a lot of love for you guys, Duff. I told you that Ole Miss was going to steal that one. But I also think it's going to create a wake-up call. Don't prove me wrong, Brian Kelly. A wake-up call that LSU will ride, and they'll start playing with ferocity that they're known for. And I'm not. They may not run the table, but you don't have to from here because you won that opening Clemson game.
Well, if you stay on 15 minutes after everybody, it's going to be the first LSU show with Brenden Martin and I, the Go for Gold show. That we're gonna do here, just a little 15 minutes on LSU football. But I think you're right. This is a pivotal time for Brian Kelly, and what the problem is look, all of us that follow LSU football knew Nussmeier was hurt. We all knew it. You could see it in his throws. He was throwing behind people. He was underthrowing people. It reminded me of Drew Brees in his last 2 years. It was like, wait a minute, that's not supposed to be happening. He's too accurate. And this kid can make every pro throw. That was the book on him. Every pro throw. And he wasn't doing it. So you knew he was hurt, right? The oblique, whatever it was, it lingered. And where Brian said he's not going to get surgery, okay, that's fine. But then why do you play him against Southeast Louisiana? That didn't make any sense, right? So when you're one-sided, as LSU seems to have been the last 4 freaking years, either great offense, no defense, very, very good defense, sputtering offense, but they got to put it together because let me tell you something. We're on a murderer's row. Yeah. We've got South Carolina coming in, and you saw what they did last week, right? And then you've got Vanderbilt, you've got A&M
in Nashville.
Yeah, in Nashville, and you've got Alabama then. I mean, so look.
Cry me a river. Look at Auburn's schedule.
Yeah, no. Everybody's got the schedule. But my point is you got to fix this and fix this now.
In a hurry. You know what? Go ahead.
And here's the thing. I take the challenge, Doug, as I'm sure LSU does, because one loss doesn't hurt you anymore. But what you can't do, and which I think Auburn made the mistake of last week, you can't let one loss turn into 2 losses.
Yeah.
And that's the key. Because I think that's what happened to Auburn when they went out to Texas A&M. They were still – and look, I don't blame them. That Oklahoma game
stolen from you.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to come back from that, but you got to because you got to tee it up 7 days later.
Hey, your boy, and he's so fantastic on air, Matt Moscona. We could all learn from his entertainment vibe.
He's great. He's my favorite LSU guy.
He honed in on from the mouth of your head coach post game that this is so Auburn. These two teams in that moment unwilling to run the ball when it's so obvious. Kelly said 85 to 90% of the time, Ole Miss was dropping 8 in coverage. Yeah. Run the damn ball, Auburn. Run the damn ball.
And not only did we not run the ball, now again, Caden Durham was on the sideline, but we've got stud running backs in that running back room, Harlan Berry. And not only did we not run the ball when they were rushing 3, we were getting sacked when they were rushing 3. We couldn't pass the ball. It was all this dink and dunk stuff. So you're exactly right.
Well,
And by the way, the offensive line at LSU is a train wreck right now. We got guys hurt. We've got guys not playing again. What was the thing when we said when LSU graduated, again, 3 great offensive line, 2 All-Americans that went in the first couple of rounds of the NFL draft? The problem is with NIL is you can get star athletes, star skill positions, and they can go out and do their thing. Running back, wide receiver, for the most part, cornerback. You put them on. You just go out there and play your game. You don't get to do that with the offensive line.
No.
And that's where we're seeing the problem. And then you throw in a restricted quarterback, and that's why you got the offense that's 15th.
Well, all right, I'm gonna throw some stuff out, and you know what? I brought it up yesterday. We do it every day. Who has great running backs in the SEC? Ahmad Hardy at Missouri and his counterpart Roberts. They've got a 1-2 punch. LSU, you can't name a guy. You can't name the guy at Georgia. You can't name the guy at Auburn or Alabama. This league is a line of scrimmage league.
No star running backs.
And no star running. Yeah, I mean, Ahmad Hardy. Ahmad Hardy is the one.
Yeah.
And he's from some little town in Mississippi. And I was going to ask Coach Silverfield, we ran out of time, about Kenneth Gainwell, running back, who's plays for the Eagles, I think, in the NFL. Really good player. That the kind of guys they're able to get. He was the number 126 ranked running back in the country out of Yazoo City, Mississippi. Grew up in the country. If you know where Yazoo City is, that's in the country. Grew up outside of there. But you got to be able to evaluate players. Let's look real quick. I know on this channel we got a Buddy Martin show at night and talking a lot about the Gators. And we got an Auburn show. We got an LSU show. This is going to be awesome, Frank. I'm so fired up. I will be watching. But, Florida and Texas play. This is the best. These are the best 2 high school football states in America. Texas has the $90 million high school stadiums. Florida has the best track and field program. And those athletes, I think, are the best. And then California, I don't know. There's a lot of players out there, but this is a big game. What do y'all think happens? Does Florida have the pride to come out and play their ass off? I think they do.
Well, I'm just going to tell you. Here's my take, and I'll let Doug have the floor. This is the biggest trap bet I think I've seen in about 3 years, because you have to look at that and say Texas is only giving up 4.5 to 1-3 Florida, who has looked like a train wreck against all these teams. The boys in Vegas know something. They didn't build all those buildings.
They want you to take Florida.
I think they want you to take Texas. I think it's the other way, Doug. I think they want money to come in on Texas.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
It scares me. So to Rob's point, I think you have a point, Rob, that Florida might be the play on this, only because that line is it's just dangling out a sucker's bet, in my opinion.
Yeah, Doug.
I really went. Do you ever? Of course, you could have this every week, unless you are overconfident wagering. I don't really wager. I sort of wager in my head, and just to learn from the process.
That's the best way to do it, Doug. I'm telling you.
Not in my wallet. Where it is, because if you understand it, you're hoping to get to 53% right, aren't you? You'll take that.
That 10% vig cuts in, brother.
and it depends on how big the wager was on the 3%. You're right. Anyway, I was all over Florida for several days, and they're at home. Their fans never quit. They show up. And I may still lean Florida. I may wake up tomorrow morning and say, I'm going to give the Gators one more chance, Billy Napier, one more. And I'm not doing it. I think actually what's going to happen, and, maybe Vegas is wrong if they are, in fact, trying to lure the public onto a Texas bet.
It's a low number.
The reason I think Arch Manning finally has his coming out party, because I just believe Sarkisian is too good, too smart, and there was some fear and anxiety early season. Why wouldn't there be going to Michigan? That's asking a lot, or I'm sorry, to Ohio State. And so I just think Texas has a defense to cause Napier some problems. And I think it'll be a competitive game, but I think you see Arch Manning start to not become a Heisman candidate really again, but to look like the kid that they thought he was. So I like Texas
I think
by about 10.
I agree, Doug. And I think Miami has a lot of similarities with Texas. And Miami boat raced Florida, boat raced them. That was as bad as we beat them and the 5 picks. Miami destroyed Florida. There's a great similarity between Texas and Miami, in my opinion. So I think there's a good chance that they actually could be, but I'm just scared of that number. And look, great timing for Brad, because Brad knows what trap bets and sucker bets look like. That 4.5 Texas given to Florida just smells of a
Rob,
trap to me.
Quickly, you said the kid, the running back from, was it Yazoo City? Where
Kenneth Gainwell, yeah.
His address is 18th and Plum. Have you heard this one? He's 18 miles from town and Plum out in the sticks.
Oh, I love that.
Brad?
Brad, how are you? Are you on a golf course somewhere?
Guys.
Where are you?
Dude, it's Hope Works, one of the great organizations in Memphis, a nonprofit we support at Landers Ford. We got a hole-in-one out here today and got a little golf outing this morning. Man. So busy weekend at Landers. We got a lot going on, supporting the Rossville Barbecue Fest as well this weekend. So 5 o'clock today, I'll be eating some non-barbecue other things to guest judge at the Rossville Barbecue Fest. And then tomorrow we got the Bartlett Festival car show with Mustang Club of Memphis. So got a lot going on just like last weekend, and got some great stuff going on at the dealership too. So, we talked about X-Plan pricing on Expeditions and Explorers and how good it was with the golf tournament. We are rolling that out for the whole month. Doesn't have to be a golf tournament vehicle. Any vehicle we got X-Plan on Explorer and Expedition. We also got some great deals in F-150 this month too. 3.9 for 72, over 10 grand off. So really excited about what we got to offer and everything going on. I love the games this weekend, guys. I do believe if you look back to last year when Lagway showed up, it was games like this game, right? Ole Miss game was one in particular where Florida had no chance in that game and they came out and won the game. So if I'm probably going to stay away from the game, quite frankly. The games I like that I feel like are somehow sucker bets, the Mississippi State spread, now it's up to 16.5. I do not understand why that's such a big spread at Texas A&M. Texas A&M has not shown me anything for them to be able to put away a team. And so I think Mississippi State showed up really good against Tennessee last week. First time on the road this year, but that's a big point spread for a Mississippi State team that's looked pretty good. So I do like Mississippi State this weekend. That's one of my
couldn't you make a pretty chunky bet on with the 16 and then a smaller bet on the State with the money line? I think State might win straight up.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't. And the way this year's gone so far, at least a couple of games a weekend, you have a team double-digit touchdowns that ends up winning. Wake Forest got screwed last week. They should have won that game as a double-digit touchdown underdog. So I do think that you got some good games this weekend that scream, I don't understand. Like not Boston College, but Virginia at Louisville, a 6.5 underdog. Louisville got lucky to beat Pittsburgh last week. They were down huge. So I think that's a really good underdog game this weekend if you're looking outside of the SEC.
Hey, Brad, was it premature? I'm having a little fun with my friend Brad. I'm gonna come by a truck for you soon, Brad. Was it premature for Bama fans to panic week 1?
Let me let you know about that after the LSU. Guys, last year we had LSU and Alabama steamrolled after we thought they were going to struggle on the road, and then they sucked the rest of the year on the road. So, there's 2 teams that Alabama's had their number, LSU and Georgia. So I'm going to hold until we see them on the road somewhere else. But, yeah, they came out, they were prepared, no penalties. They were calm, cool, and collected in that game, something that they were not in the Florida State game. So, hey, I would love to say that we're on the right track and things are looking good and on the up. You know who's not on the right track? Auburn. I called that at the beginning of the season, guys. I would be shocked if you freeze survives the season.
It's a mess. Brad, if you hit the mute button in between when you're not talking, there's the wind or something's coming in. But no, Brad's bringing up a lot of good points. Mississippi State, first time on the road. I hate these first 4 or 5 game home schedules where you get too comfortable at home. But A&M, yeah, what have they shown me? Georgia, Kentucky this weekend. Is anybody talking about that one at all? When they go to Lexington and play Brad White, the defensive coordinator for Kentucky, always has Georgia's number, but not in Athens. And Georgia, Brad, come back in with us. But I think Georgia's going to come out and play a hell of a game Saturday. Not just because they're mad. It's just Kirby will demand it, and his players do respond well to his pregame.
They're butthurt, man. The Georgia around here is absolutely butthurt after that Alabama game. So I feel for Kentucky.
Yeah,
guys, I'm gonna have to cut out. I'm gonna have to cut out, Rob.
All right, Doug, thank you so much. That was awesome stuff, Brad. Before you,
I like the bet I like in that game is the under, guys. I've not seen anything in Kentucky's offense that they can score many points, but their defense has been pretty good. I mean, Ole Miss didn't score much against them. So if I was going to do anything on that game, I'm looking at the under. I think that's the play. I could see Georgia being two different teams, right? I mean, they've not done great at covering big spreads, and that's a pretty big spread for an SEC game, but they're pretty pissed off too. So I'm going to go under in that game.
Brad, you'll be out today, 5 o'clock in Rossville. You're going to be out there?
Yes, out there at 5 o'clock. I'll be judging, and I'll be hanging out with Judy, the mayor of Rossville. And it's a great event, guys. A lot of great barbecue teams out there. It's a busy weekend, but I would highly recommend it. And Rob, I appreciate having the time on the show this morning. I'm going to go ahead and pop off, though.
You're fine. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll see you next week when you come on here. And I'll see you Monday night at the Touchdown Club. We had Coach Silverfield on this morning. He is fired up about this meeting.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a great weekend. Good weekend. Good
and
night.
By the way, Brad, you're having a pretty damn good week with that nice Monday night that you had and that hole in one. You're living a charm life this week, buddy.
Hey, Frank, I hit the first touchdown.
Sweet, man, dude. You're on a roll, buddy. You're on a roll.
I'm on a roll. Yeah. Rob, I had Waller 2 touchdowns Monday night at 100-1. So, yeah, it's been a good week, guys.
And if the IRS is listening, it was only $1 bet.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I lost one on the other side, right? So,
that's right.
Anyway,
that's right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Landers Ford, Brad Bellamy, General Manager. That's the man. Ask for him, Frank. Great show. I'm going to get out of here so we can be on time for you to start your show. Hey, remember also down the street, Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Get out there this weekend on your way to Rossville to see Brad Bellamy. Stop by Hewlett & Dunn on the historic square in Collierville, Tennessee. Boxes are coming in every day of the Barber, the Filson, the Stetson, the Pendleton, the Schaefer. Great looking jackets for cooler weather because it's coming. Man, they've got stuff from Marshwear, these and genteel slacks, pants, whatever you want to call them. They're good looking, man. Polos. They've got blazers. Duckhead jackets are coming in. Over 7,000 pairs of men's and women's boots. They got everything you want. You want your wife and you and your kids and your family to look the best they've ever looked. Shop at Hewlett & Dunn. And look, how you fight is how you live. You better be in shape. Rumble Boxing. Engage both sides of your brain. There are people out there we see on TV every night that don't use either side of their brain. Get to Rumble Boxing at Union and McLean, open every day of the week. And the Lights Out Gummies, Pro Athletes Hemp Association. Dave Bartu, I love this guy. Lives outside of Portland, Oregon. Comes on our show every week. God, he's smart. It's fun to talk numbers with him. They got energy, chill, and lights out gummies. They also have topicals, pain, lotions, gels. They work. Use the QR code, get 25% off. Hey, most often we see the face of Christ in the least among us. Every day, find ways you can go out and help other people. We've all been helped along the way. Don't ever forget to give back. Frank, watch this show coming on this channel. Go for the gold. That's going to be, this is going to be fun. But for executive producer, Brenden Martin, we love him. Works his ass off every day to make this stuff happen. Stay tuned to this channel. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching.